Hello aspirants, welcome to Swadhyaya for UPSC, and this video is a continuation of the previous video under the GS paper 3 internal security norms, and the topic is Naxalism, and this is the part 4 of Naxalism video, and perhaps it might be the last conclusion also. So here in this video we are going to discuss what the government strategy as well as the way forward, how we need to take up the points to summarize for our examination. So in this video we are going to cover the government strategy to address left-wing extremism, the steps taken by the government like the security as well as regarding the developmental programs, as well as we are also concluding this so-called Naxalism as well. So without wasting our time, let us start this session. So as we said, in this fourth part of Naxalism series, we focus on the government strategy in tackling the Naxalism and the way ahead. So let us start our true discussion, the original discussion. So these are to be needed as a part of this. And here, the government strategy to address left-wing extremism, first here comes the ban on CPI-M, CPI Maoist. So here comes the whole important points. So government of India held a meeting with almost all the state forces, let me say all the state home ministries, and they are going to enforce that so-called strategy, a ban on CPI-M through Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. And what is that? It is nothing but banning there. So banning them is the only more possibility. But here ban on CPI Maoist along with all its formations and front organizations under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967. So this is very important to remember. So Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967 is that so-called act where Government of India used to ban the CPI-M. So this is what the first strategy they followed. And at the same time, they also focused on the assistance to left-wing extremist states. See, basically, police and public order, these are being the state subjects. Action with respect to maintenance of law and order lies primarily in the domain of the concerned state governments. So simply remember, police and public order comes under the state subject, where the highest importance to be given by the state governments there. However, the central government closely monitors the situation and coordinates and supplements their efforts in several ways to deal with this left-wing extremism problem. And as a part of the dealing itself, and as a part of the close monitoring itself, there includes some important things, and those are nothing but providing central armed police forces and commando battalions for resolute action like Cobra. Likewise, setting off counter-insurgency and anti-terrorism CAT schools where training will be provided there. Modernization of the state police and their intelligence apparatus, etc. So such a type of norms can be taken as an initiation by the central government as a strategy to address this left-wing extremism. And more importantly, the assistance is also going to provide in the form of some central government schemes as well. And those schemes include the security related expenditure scheme SRE, special infrastructure scheme SIS, central scheme for assistance to civilian victims or the families of the victims of terrorist, communal and Naxal violence civic action programs, so CAPs. So these are the three most important what we call important government schemes which were initiated by the government in order to provide that so-called helping hand to these victims of these Naxalite or the Naxal regions. So this is what we need to understand. But there comes a question for our mains: is it really successful? So if you really think that it is successful, how come it is possible? Please comment below the description. And if you also think that it is not successful, why? What happened there? What are the negative aspects there? What are so-called needs to be improved? So even that, your opinion can be commented under the description. You are always welcome there. So this is what the second strategy by the government of India. And then comes the action plan. So the government has formulated this national policy and action plan, adopting a new strategy. So their national policy and a national action plan, by adopting a strategy, is nothing but attacking them with a strategy, and that strategy can be seen in four major areas. The four major areas are your security, development, ensuring rights and entitlement of the local communities, management of public perception. So that viewpoint of that people, public, their opinion should change in favor of the government but not to the Naxalites. And ensuring the rights and entitlement of the local communities. Developmental factors has been given priority to develop in the regions of Naxal regions. Along with that, security to the civic law and order. So these are the four most important areas of concern with a strategic action plan which was initiated by our government of India. And then comes strengthening the intelligence mechanism. So strengthening the intelligence mechanism, which includes this intelligence sharing through multi-agency center MAC, which is at central level, as well as state multi-agency center SMAC at subsidiary level, also called the state level, that too on 24/7 basis. So 24/7, 365 days it is going to give that inputs or take that inputs related to this eradication of left-wing extremism. And then comes your better interstate coordination. So this better interstate coordination can be seen by the way of frequent meetings and interaction between the bordering districts of your left-wing extremists affected regions. And especially these frequent meetings and interaction is very much needed for the hour, which can be seen as a call of the day, because without communication nothing can be possible, and hence interstate coordination in a better way is one of the strategy which was initiated by government of India again. And then comes your media plan. As we know that media is also in support of this violent factors, let me say, like this communism or Naxalism or Maoism which is existing in India. And the great editors of the media persons are also in support of these Naxalites itself, where they are claiming to say that these security forces are violating the fundamental rights, are a threat to the human rights. So that strategy, that so-called thought from the media should be eradicated, and media should be supported in such a way to the government of India where the people should come to know how this left-wing extremist violence is a threat to our Indian development or to the welfare of the lives of the tribes, and how far the developmental schemes, policies and initiatives of the government can put forward, and how come they themselves can develop their livelihood. So media plan is also one of the action strategy under this government of India to tackle these left-wing extremists. And then comes a surrender and rehabilitation policy. This surrenderance and rehabilitation policy can be seen right from 1980s itself, with the objective of to discourage the misguided youth, where this youth, especially in these tribal regions, especially from this red corridor zone, are being attracted by the Naxal philosophies, and they were trapped and becoming a part of this Naxal movement. So the first objective is to discourage this misguided youth and the removal of hardcore Naxalites who find themselves trapped in the net of Naxal movement. And then comes the second objective, to ensure those who surrendered will not again go and join in the Naxal movement again. So these are the two most important objectives. So here let us have a clear-cut understanding. Under the surrender and rehabilitation policy, the eligibility under the scheme, one should fall under these conditions. What are those conditions here? The Naxals who have surrendered with or without arms are going to take into consideration. Those were eligible. Second condition there, they should be cleared after the scrutiny done by the screening or the rehabilitation committee which is set up by the respective governments. So when they are going to apply for this SRP, nothing but surrender and rehabilitation policy, that so-called committee he is going to go for a background check, whether these are really original Naxalites or not, and what are these specifications mentioned. So these are all the types of things where they are going to scrutiny that, and then they are providing them whether they are eligible or not. And once they are eligible, then there will be the benefits of the scheme. So training in the trade or vocation can be given as per their attitude. So based on the skills which they acquired, training will be given on these grounds, and they will be receiving a payment of 2000 rupees per month continuously for 2 years. And if and when the individual gets an employment, the monthly stipend will end. And immediate grant of 1.5 lakh rupees as a fixed deposit on the account of that so-called surrendered Naxalite will be opened. Along with that, this amount after 3 years, only that so-called surrendered Naxalite will be given that opportunity, saying that he is eligible to withdraw that money. And this amount will not be given in case when the individual secures a job with the government. So from this it is very clear the surrendered Naxalites are also given an opportunity to work as a part of government as well. And there are also some additional incentives for the surrendering of the weapons, which will also be in the form of fixed deposit, which will be given after the completion of 3 years or based on the good behavior which they develop. So these are the benefits of the scheme. And there are also some particular specific conditions that so-called surrendered Naxalite should have a rank of a Dalam. So a specific Dalam which were notified by the government, only those Naxalites are going to be provided here, that so-called eligibility criteria, and those will come under this surrender and rehabilitation policy. So this is what we need to keep in our minds. And then comes the 8th strategy of the government, a new program which was launched by the Ministry of Rural Development in almost all the 24 Naxal affected districts. It is nothing but your Roshni. So the aim of this Roshni is to provide the skill and placement for 50,000 youth from 24 selected Naxal affected districts. And for this scheme, 100 crore rupees continuously for 3 years, and as a share of 75:25 between the center and the state will be provided. And what are those 24 Naxal affected districts? 6 districts from Jharkhand and Odisha, 5 from Chhattisgarh, 2 from Bihar, 1 each from Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal and Maharashtra. So all these comprises of 24. And under this Roshni, providing this skill and placement for the rural tribes especially, they are focusing, so that they can have their better livelihood status in the regions of our red corridor. And then along with that, monitoring and coordination of the program will be done by the national level agencies. So this Roshni can be monitored and coordinated by the national level agencies. At least 50% of the candidates covered under the scheme shall be of women, and special efforts will be made proactively to cover particularly the vulnerable tribal groups on the priority basis. So out of 50,000, 25,000 will be women, that too prioritized under this vulnerable tribal groups. And the beneficiaries can be aged between 18 to 35 years, not less than 18 and not more than 35. That too, their qualities, based on their qualities and skills, depending on the trade or job requirements, these are going to be selected as per the participatory identification of the poor. And for those selected candidates, for those selected beneficiaries, training will be given under public-private and public-public partnerships. Educational institutions, corporate entities, entities that train and place for improved public service delivery, commercial and not-for-profit trading providers will be roped in. And further training models with the duration of from 3 months to 1 year shall be taken up to meet the diverse needs of the youth depending on their eligibility qualifications. So these are all nothing but the process of this Roshni scheme to implement. And then comes steps taken by the government. So basically there are 2 types of steps can be taken by the government. One is security steps, second one is developmental steps. For security steps, Operation Steepleches, launched in 1971, which can be seen as a joint army CRPF police operation in order to crack down these Naxalites so that they can ran far away from the regions. And then comes Operation Green Hunt in 2009 from the government deployed commando battalion for resolute actions, nothing but your Cobra against Naxals. Andhra Pradesh initiated and specialized in Greyhound Commando Force to tackle the left-wing extremism. And Unified Command. In 2010, the government established this Unified Command for interstate coordination. Like the previous strategies which we have discussed, all will come under this interstate coordination itself. So these are the security steps taken by the government, and to my point of view, all these steps taken by the government under the security norms were successful, and that is the reason why today we can observe the graphs of these left-wing extremism is decreasing. And then comes the developmental factors. Forest Rights Act 2006, which has given the rights to the tribal people, especially for the forest produce or the minor forest produce, and the recent MSP values were also raised for this minor forest produce. So this is also an initiative under this developmental actions. Additional central assistance will be provided to those people who comes under this norms. And here you need to also understand that this so-called additional central assistance, earlier which was called as integrated action plan, this is called integrated action plan previously. So the aim of this initiative is to provide public infrastructure and services in the left-wing extremist affected areas. And then comes your road requirement plan for left-wing extremist areas. This can be treated as a RRP, which aims, RRP is nothing but road requirement plan. It is having its own aim at improvement of road connectivity. So road connectivity is the major agenda there. And then comes your civic action program, which aims to build bridges between the local population and the security forces. The left-wing extremism affected states have been asked to effectively implement the provisions of this PESA and all, Panchayats extension to the Scheduled Areas Act 1996. So this can be seen as a part of that. So civic action plan, one of that for your understanding is your PESA on priority basis. So through this PESA, they can categorically assign rights over the minus forest produce to the Gram Sabhas itself. So Gram Sabhas are going to take a decision regarding that minor forest produce, but not the Naxalites. And as a part of that, that Roshni which we have said, Roshni can be seen as a part of this Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushalya Yojana. So it is a special initiative under this. Roshni is a special initiative under this, where it is going to provide training and placement for the rural poor youth, especially from this left-wing extremist affected areas. And finally, your Naxal surrender cum rehabilitation program. So this is also going to play a major role, which provides for vocational training and incentives for the surrender of weapons especially. So these all comes under your developmental plans or developmental actions, steps taken by the government of India. And recently, to conclude, the Home Minister announced a new strategy called Samadhan. So Samadhan is nothing but what? S for smart leadership with aggressive strategy, motivation and training, additional intelligence or actionable intelligence, dashboard based KPIs means key performance indicators, and KRAs key result areas, harnessing the technology, action plan for each theater, and no access to financing. So all of a sudden, because of this Samadhan, it is really an answer to put a check, to put a full stop to the left-wing extremism. And hence for your examination, you need to remember this Samadhan in the point of view of both prelims as well as mains. And to conclude or to summarize all the 4 videos on Naxalism which we had taken up, we need to understand the present day situations and how the governments are tackling. So since the rise and spread of Naxalism, which is an attributed to discontent arising out of economic and social discrimination, the government should primarily focus on the social economic development in the backward tribal areas. Why it is the primary focus? Because socio-economic discrimination can be seen in the regions of our tribes. And the second point here to summarize is the government service delivery should be improved in tribal areas. So service delivery should be improved in tribal areas. Government service delivery here. Government should ensure the statutory minimum wages, access to land and water resources, education, health, whatnot, almost all the key sectors of the economy in order to develop their livelihood. And the government should initiate a sincere dialogue with marginalized groups and the Naxalites and encourage them to get surrender. Because rehabilitation of the Naxals and mainstreaming them into the society should be ensured from the government side. And finally, the government should strike a balance between development and interest of the tribes. And it is important to recognize the tribal rights on forest and ensure proper rehabilitation in case of any displacement, saying that for the development from the government side. So this is what we need to understand here. And for your understanding, again, this Operation Samadhan, which is related to our governance, internal security under the Sukma attack, especially because on 11th March, the Naxalites attacked the CRPF Jawans. Almost 11 days after, security personnel killed 10 alleged Naxalites in the state. So it also comes 6 months after 25 CRPF Jawans who were slaughtered in one of the deadliest attacks by the Maoist rebels. And 12 CRPF personnel were ambushed, totally fired up in Sukma district. So till date, most Maoist violences has killed nearly 12,000 people in the last 2 decades. And hence government introduced a new strategy to deal with this Naxalism, and that strategy is nothing but your Samadhan, which focus on using the advanced technology including the drones and smart guns and feature triggers that get activated by biometrics. So the security operations doctrine is nothing but your Operation Samadhan, which comes under the Ministry of Home Affairs, is really an answer to the Naxal problem in India. And Ministry of Home Affairs has suggested the use of trackers for weapons and biometrics in smart guns. Unique identification number for gelatin sticks and explosives has been given. Unmanned aerial vehicles or mini unmanned aerial vehicles for each CRPF battalion soldier has been deployed in the Maoist hotbed. More helicopter support for operations has been encouraged by the government. Joint task operations for operations along the interstate boundaries were also set up. Better interstate coordination and intelligence sharing was given. And this resumption of left-wing extremism, which specifies the schemes such as security-related expenditure schemes, special infrastructure schemes, special central assistance, etc. type of assistance schemes has been given the highest priority, where deployment of resources in the form of money was providing by the government. And this Prevention of Money Laundering Act to be reviewed to ensure effective chalking of fund flow to this left-wing extremist groups. Fast tracking building infrastructure with a focus on solar lights, mobile towers with 3G connectivity, railroad connectivity. Likewise, the Indian Army or special forces like this Greyhounds or something like that to train the forces to take action on these Naxalites directly. So forces should be more proactive and aggressive in owning these operations rather than being reactive. It is belief of the government of India that through a holistic approach focusing on development and security related interventions, the left-wing extremist problem can be successfully tackled. But however, it is very clear that these Maoists do not want the root causes like underdevelopment to be addressed in a meaningful manner, since they resort to targeting the schools, school buildings, roads, railways, bridges, healthy infrastructure, communication facilities in a major way. So it is one of the nasty things which are being coming up from these Naxalites as well. So this is the correct time to give a Samadhan, and this Operation Samadhan is an answer for that. So this is all about your complete Naxalism series. In 4 videos we have concluded this. So better have an idea and prepare your own notes by taking these courses, and it will be helpful not only related to your GS paper 3 internal security but also for the governance part. So this is what all about your Naxalism, and here comes the question for you, which is the expected question for the preliminary point of view. Consider the following statements. The ideology of left-wing terrorists is deeply influenced by the Marxist and other communist and social practices. Samadhan is a new strategy against Maoists. So select the correct ones. So give me your answer below the description in the comment section. And this is all for this video. Again, we can catch up with other interesting topics under the UPSC favorite areas. So thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned and stay updated. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe, and hit the bell icon below the description. Promote this channel for the serious aspirants who are deliberately in need. Thank you very much. Stay home and stay safe.